Well, here we go. There is only one place to start, and that is Prince Harry's dramatic day at the High Court. He's been accusing the press of having blood on their hands, branded newspaper journalists the mothership of online trolling. His witness statement said this: "Trolls react and mobilise to stories they create. People have died as a result, and people will continue to kill themselves by suicide when they can't see any other way out. How much more blood will stain their typing fingers before someone can put a stop to this madness?" He is very open about this. He's on a one-man mission to cure the British press. However, it has not been a good day overall for Prince Harry in court. Why? Well, the Mirror Group have taken 3 major lines of attack on him, and so far every single one has landed. They say that Prince Harry didn't actually read many of the articles which he claims have caused him distress, which is, you know, a killer blow, really. They've also said as well that much of the information that Harry is claiming was obtained unlawfully was actually already in the public domain, so, again, another killer blow. They are also saying that when it came to what distress was caused, particularly in relation to his drug taking, that was distress more caused out of embarrassment as opposed to the article not being true or obtained unlawfully. Harry looks like a man who has turned up to court half-cocked. Let's speak to GB News' royal correspondent Cameron Walker, who is outside the High Court. And Cameron, yes, I mean, it's all been rather polite, but Harry very much on the back foot, doesn't seem so prepared.
Yeah, it's certainly polite, Patrick, inside the courtroom, but it is most definitely a grilling from Andrew Green, KC, representing Mirror Group newspapers, who is cross-examining Prince Harry in his claim against Mirror Group newspapers. Of course, Prince Harry accuses him of unlawful information gathering. When we got Prince Harry's witness statement this morning, it was incredibly strong words, some of which you just read out in your introduction. He also says that British journalism and the government are at rock bottom. So incredibly strong words there. But as you said, Mr. Andrew Green, KC, has been picking apart the specifics of the 33 articles which Prince Harry which are basically being tested in Prince Harry's case against Mirror Group papers. He is going through this forensically in minute detail and questioning Prince Harry's witness statement to the nth degree. Let me show you. Let me tell you. So I've just come from a little bit of the afternoon session in there, and Mirror Group newspaper's barrister was talking about an article written on 29th of March 2002, Harry's kissing disease, referring to his diagnosis of glandular fever. And the article quotes a St James's Palace spokesperson, and she talks about how Prince Harry was feeling much better. And he asked Prince Harry, "Are you aware that there were a number of articles, not just the Mirror, writing this story up?" And Prince Harry said, "The palace do not comment on private matters, and the only reason that they would comment on private matters, as they did do in this case, was because they were fed or given or asked about a specific lead that a journalist had." And Mirror Group newspaper essentially said, "Are you aware that?" As I said, there's a number of articles written around the same time by various different news organisations. Another article actually refers to Prince Harry's birthday party and the fact that it's just going to be a private family affair rather than a big shindig. That information Mirror Group newspapers was putting to Harry actually came from an interview he did with the Press Association rather than any particular phone hacking. What seems to be the big contrast here is the barrister for News Group newspapers is very much going in on specifics and trying to see exactly how much Prince Harry knows about the 33 articles written about him, trying to test just how distressed he was at the time when he read the articles at the time of publication, something Prince Harry said he's not going to speculate on. He did not admit to reading some of those 33 articles at the time of publication, and Prince Harry at the moment seems to be talking in much more broad terms, which perhaps isn't making him look too good in court. But the case continues. He's expected to give evidence all afternoon into tomorrow, and the whole trial is expected to last 6 to 7 weeks.
Cameron, I just want to ask you before I throw it over to Michael Cole for a bit more comment on what we've got here. What's Harry looking like in court at the moment? What does he seem to be? What's his aura? What's his kind of general demeanour?
Well, when he first arrived at court this morning, Patrick, I was actually inside the corridor and saw him and away from the cameras, and he wasn't putting on a show for the cameras this morning. He generally seems confident. He definitely seemed like he was smiling. Of course, it's an open court, so members of the public are allowed to be inside as well, and there's a number waiting outside the courtroom, waiting for somebody to come out so they can go in, and they are cheering and smiling and waving at Prince Harry, and he is happy to smile at them and wave back. In terms of inside the courtroom itself, he seems very calm, very measured. He's not getting flustered. He's not getting frustrated. He is answering the barrister's questions. So it doesn't seem like he's getting particularly frustrated or defensive, as we perhaps have seen him be on a couple of occasions recently, particularly during the promotional interviews for his book Spare.
Cameron, thank you very much. Cameron Walker, our royal correspondent. So Cameron's outside the High Court. He'll be nipping back into it as well. So we are bang on the scene for this. But I'm joined in the studio by royal commentator Michael Cole. Michael, this is fascinating. The reason I asked Cameron there about what Harry's demeanour was like, and he said he was cool, calm, collected, happy, I think that screams delusional, because from the excerpts of this that I have seen, and we have got live updates here in front of me here, he's being asked a series of pertinent questions that in a court of law you cannot fudge. How on earth do you know that this information was obtained by phone hacking? I don't. How on earth do you know that this information only came from that? I don't. Then they say, are you aware that this information about numerous articles was already in the public domain? He was not aware. The latest, did you write your own witness statement? It turns out he may well have relied on his lawyers. I mean, this is not a great day for Harry.
No, Prince Harry is a man on a mission, one might say on a crusade. What we've heard today so far is his truth. The hurt is raw, the belief is deep, but what there isn't is any proof. And court cases turn on evidence. And unless he can come up with evidence, definitive proof in any one of these 33 instances of alleged illicit news gathering by Mirror Group newspapers, the case cannot go his way, because the judge, and it's not being heard by a jury who may have been more sympathetic. It's being heard by a judge. And even if he bends over backwards to give the benefit of the doubt to the prince, unless he can prove what he's saying, and so far there's been no killer blow, let's be honest about it, no knockout blow. They're still sparring, but he's not making any progress. You say delusional. I tell you what I think is completely misjudged. To say that the government of this country is at rock bottom. Well, it may be, but it's not for him to say, particularly as the Duke of Sussex, a member of the House of Lords, doesn't even have a vote in this country. And with regard to his remark that the British press is also at rock bottom, well, we have the British press laid out on your desk here, all 10 morning newspapers. Where he lives in Los Angeles, there's one struggling newspaper, and that's the same in most conurbations in America. So I don't think the British press, in all its glory, is to be sneered at in that way. He didn't need to do it.
No. I want to give people a couple of examples of the kind of thing that Harry has been grilled on in court. Both of them are restaurant-related, OK? One of them, remarkably, is Pizza Express, by the way. But one of them is about a restaurant in the Chelsea area he was going to with his friends, and he was saying that he thought his phone had been hacked, which is why information about that meeting got out there. It had a celebrity chef. There was a group of friends. It was an incredibly busy gastro pub, and it's on one of the busiest streets in London.
And I think a photographer was there.
And a photographer was there, OK? So this isn't, it would appear anyway, phone hacking. And if it was, Harry, crucially, cannot, or is not yet providing any evidence of it. The other one, a Daily Mail article from the 12th of September 2000 called Pizza Prince. The Mirror article repeats the gist of what is written in the Mail, and this is important for a lot of people. A lot of people watching and listening to this who consume the media will understand that very often stories are recycled journalism, as it's known, OK? So the argument there is that it wasn't even anything to do with the Mirror, so therefore why is that happening there? He's asked then, do you recall this article? To which he says, no, I don't. And then he's asked, well, how can it have caused you any distress then?
Well, what's the fatal attraction between members of the royal family and pizza restaurants? I think that's another one we could look into at another time. But if you take another specific case, as a child he had glandular fever, known as the kissing disease. And this story got into the public domain. Well, how did it get into the public domain? There was a broad spectrum of newspapers that carried this story, which suggests to me, with my experience, that there had been some briefing, that this had been briefed out, that it had happened. And maybe the Mirror presented it as the kissing disease and others presented it in a more clinical way. We don't know. But it has been suggested that the person who was briefing it out was the chief spin doctor of Prince Harry's father. When it said St James's Palace, that can only mean, because that's where the now king was then based at that time. He was based at St James's Palace. That's where he was running things from. And his chief spin doctor knew all these. It was in his business to know newspaper editors and newspaper photographers. So it's a very strange thing. The way it's going, he's got to come up with the proof. And so far, we have seen nothing approaching that.
Yeah, 100%. And as you're talking, I'm just following up on this article published in the Mirror on the 29th of March 2002. This gives it a flavour of how far back we're going here. Harry's kissing disease, you mentioned that exactly. Article quotes St James's Palace spokesperson. So it's not just the idea that this may well not have come from phone hacking. It's also, crucially, he was asked directly in court, Harry was asked, are you aware that the same article, basically, appeared in The Sun as well? No, but my legal team would be. This is a man at the moment, I strongly suspect, given everything that is coming through to us, and it is coming through to us in real time as well, so we will keep you up to date with any developments, but who I would argue has maybe been quite poorly instructed by his legal team and doesn't quite understand the need for actual proof.
Yeah, and I think he doesn't really understand the way the British press works, because he and his wife, Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, were at some stage complaining that the royal rota, which is a way of sharing information between newspapers, was somehow a way that Buckingham Palace had of controlling the British press, as if that was even possible. It was a grave lack of understanding. Of course, I mean, it's no surprise, Patrick, that it's been 130 years since a member of the royal family was unwise enough to go into the witness box, because there's more kicks than halfpennies in doing so. Yeah. I'm sure his late grandmother, the Queen, would have said to him, please don't do this, you cannot win. And even if you do win, what do you win?
Yeah, 100%. Michael, thank you very much for this. You're going to be here with us basically throughout the course of this show. We're going to be keeping you up to date. I'm just going to leave you for a second with this latest excerpt that has just dropped in front of me. Bear in mind that this case is all about trying to prove, from Harry's behalf, that phones were hacked, that there was unlawful information gathering, that caused him huge amounts of distress, and that, therefore, he now has some huge case to bring against the Mirror Group. Are you alleging that something in this article was obtained by phone hacking? Harry, don't know. Has it caused you distress? Harry, no. So there we go. All right, you can get more on this story on our website right now. Simply head to gbnews.com for the best analysis and opinion, as well as the latest breaking news. I can guarantee you that this story is only going to get more and more box office, so make sure you don't take your eyes and ears off it.